This is Carl at National RV Detroit, and I'm going to walk you through this 2021 Keystone Bullet Premier Ultralight model 26RB. Alright, so let's move to the rear. So you have an outside kitchen here with running water, a refrigerator that works on 110 AC. There's no switch for it, so as soon as you plug in the trailer it turns on. You also have the cooktop here that pulls out. The cooktop has to be, the LP line has to be connected, so that's done right here. I'll try and show you. There, right there, there's the quick connect fitting to plug any appliance into, actually, any low pressure appliance. You can use a grill also, whatever. You have power stabilizers. Now these stabilizers can be cranked manually. There's a crank for it in the front compartment. I'll show you. You can see that shaft with a pin through it. If they happen to fail, you can always crank them in manually. Also, this is the water heater, the outside of the water heater. It's Dometic, and the switches to operate it are inside. This is your drain right here. Okay, always make sure the pressure's out of the tank before you open that up, or you get sprayed. Worse, you get scalded if you don't wait for it to cool down. So never mess with it when it's hot anyway. Okay, the switches are inside. I'll show you that when we get in there. This is just TV hookup here. Your slide out, I know this is it's the type of slide. It's an AccuSlide. So just so you know, there's different types. This one's an AccuSlide. All right. You got a power awning with LED strip. The stairs fold into the trailer. You can adjust the length of the legs to the terrain by pulling these pins and sliding them up and down and locking the pin in accordingly. So you have that. This is your hitch. It's a Husky centerline weight distribution hitch with built-in sway control. We'll show you how that operates when you pick up your trailer. You get this sprayer with it. There's a quick connect fitting. This is the crank that you would use on the stabilizers if they happen to fail. And this is your 3/4 inch crank. Let me look over here. The reason you have a 3/4 inch crank is because this is your power tongue jack, of course. If it was to fail, you can pull this plug, this plastic or rubber plug off the top, put the crank on there and crank it. You can also use a socket or a socket on a drill, but you can always get yourself out of trouble. The things are very reliable. They hardly ever go bad, but if they do, it's a machine, so if they do, you got a way out. Okay, so all right, so you have you're obviously a power tongue jack. You've got two LP tanks with automatic regulator, an automatic changeover regulator. You have a 110, or excuse me, you have a 12 volt DC battery, a deep cycle marine battery. Okay. This is to hook up a solar panel to charge your battery if you choose to. You'd have to purchase one and get the one with that type of plug on it, and it will plug in and you could charge the battery if you needed to. See if I can do it one-handed. I can't, so here we go. I'm going to turn the camera. Okay. So this is solar ready and inverter prep. That just means there's wiring down here and on the roof for the solar panels. And if you want to add an inverter, now an inverter, to invert electricity, if you don't know, it's to take 12 volt DC and convert it to 110 AC, right? So that's inverter. Now this has a converter inside, which is just the opposite. It converts AC to DC power, so it will convert 110 AC to 12 volt DC, and inverter does just the opposite. So it's pre-wired for that. Okay. This is your water station. City water connection, which is just hook the hose up and you're ready to go. If you don't have running water on the campsite or city water on the campsite, you can pre-fill this tank through there, the fresh water tank, and then use the onboard pump to pump the water. This is a black tank flush right here. The reason you would flush it is after you open the black valve and dump the black tank, which is toilet water and waste, you can put a hose on there, you leave the valve open, turn it on, and it'll spray out the inside of the tank. Okay, so that's a good thing to have. You different positions to put it in winterizing and out of winterizing, and there's a hose where you draw the port you draw the antifreeze in. This is to bypass the water heater when you winterize, so it's got that. And this is where that sprayer would hook up. This is just cable and satellite through. So you don't have to go to the back of the water heater to change the valves when you're winterizing and de-winterizing, which is a neat thing. Okay, it actually makes it a lot easier. So there's another AccuSlide here. These are your dump valves. You have one way up in front of the tires there, right over there. Okay, and then you got a gray and a black here. Always dump the black first because it's toilet water and waste, and then wash it out with the sink and shower water, which is in the gray tank. Remember, if you leave the valve open, you can use the black tank flush, and that'll really clean it out. Your cord is 30 amps and 30 feet long. Okay. This housing tells us it's pre-wired for a backup camera. If you want one, we do sell them here. Okay. The ladder makes it easy to inspect your roof. So the manufacturer states that every 90 days the roof seals need to be inspected. So when you make sure you have somebody go up there or go up there yourself, and you check all the sealant for cracking or separation. You'll look to make sure there's no damage to the roof by road debris or low branches, that sort of thing. Make sure the vent covers are intact. Just give it a good inspection. And if you see any issues at all, you get it taken care of immediately. Every trailer needs to be inspected on the roof, but not everybody does it. But it's one of those most important things you can do as a trailer owner when it comes to maintenance, is keeping you inspect your seals and make sure they're good and tight. Okay, so this is your control panel. You have slide room here, 1 and slide room 2. Your awning is power awning. Never leave it out unattended, so you just put it out. And if you're not going to be at the campsite, you can just takes just a minute to bring it back in. You light your LP water heater on gas, and the electric part of it on electric. Your water pump I told you about is right there. You can pump from the fresh water tank, and you use that to winterize. Lights there. Okay, your battery is charged. Fresh water has water in it right now. Black is empty. Gray is empty. Gray 2 is empty. Okay. This is your thermostat. It's very simple. You're just going to push basically the mode button until you find cooling or heating or fan, which is just the air conditioner running without the compressor. So try to always run them on auto. That's the thing. You can select high or low for fan speed. Auto is the way to go. All right. Down here, this is your carbon monoxide and LP gas detector. If it goes off, it'll test for LP leak or carbon monoxide buildup, so that would set it off. It'll also tell you if your battery's low. So I'll do a test here. I'll run it through the test mode. First it'll check for LP, then carbon monoxide, then it'll show you the low battery will beep 4 times, very slowly. LP, carbon monoxide coming up. Low battery. And then back to green. So it should always be green. If not, you get it serviced, okay? That's important, obviously. Your bedroom, you have the TV hook up here. Backer plate right there. You can see the sticker on the wall. Your bed you can pull up and there's storage under there like a foot locker. Your emergency window. To use it, you're just going to push it. You would push it all the way through, and then you grab a hold of the red tab and pull the screen out, and you can exit out that way in an emergency. Okay. Got a clothes chute there if you want. I hope that's what it is. Let me see. Yeah, you can put a basket underneath there and just drop your clothes into the front compartment. Okay. All right, so let's look around here. Okay. So obviously this is a TV set. You recognize what that is. This must be, let's see, it does have a strap on it, so you have to strap it in when you're in transit so it doesn't come loose or damage anything. It has a swing out bracket on it, so that would explain the strap. Okay. This is your sound here. You can stream off this USB port here. You can stream wirelessly with Bluetooth from your phones or your tablet. You can play AM FM radio. You have 2 speaker zones. 1 is inside the trailer, 2 is outside the trailer. You know, and all the presets and everything that goes with a radio. You have an HDMI in, so this goes into the system. So if you, for example, you could use a Blu-ray player if you wanted to, just temporarily hook it up and plug it in. A game machine for kids or grandkids on a rainy weekend, something like that. Although I'm sure you want to get away from that stuff if you're camping, but nevertheless, those are the type of things that could go into the system through the HDMI. Okay, your fireplace, which has a remote also. I haven't seen any of them yet, but they're in here. Basically, it's a multicolored flame, and you can change the intensity of the flame just for aesthetics, right? Then it has a thermostat in it, and it has a fan, low and high, so you can use the space heater function. And it also has a timer, so you could set it to turn on, 20 minutes before you get up in the morning on cool mornings. That way you don't have to use up your LP. You can just heat it up using 110 AC. So it's not only good to look at, it's actually a functional space heater. Okay, now this here, let me make sure what it is before I say it. Yeah, these pull right off, and this is a 3-panel hide-a-bed. It's a nice one actually too. You pull this out, it'll come out 2 panels, then you drop the legs on it, fold the back section down, and you got a foam 3-paneled hide-a-bed, which is not like the old ones. It's actually reasonably comfortable. It's not like the old ones with the springs and the bar on your back and everything. So, okay, you should always strap your inner legs together. That's what that strap is for when you're traveling. It doesn't keep the chairs from moving, but it won't allow them to fly around and break a window or damage something. So, okay. Okay, so this refrigerator is a 12-volt compressor refrigerator. So it runs on 12 volts DC power. So basically, when you're pulling down the road, wait a minute, that didn't close right. There we go. When you're going down the road, it's drawing power from your battery, and your battery is being charged by the alternator of your tow vehicle, right? But when you're plugged in at the campsite, this device here keeps it running. This is a power converter. What this does is converts AC to DC power. So it takes 110 AC, which you see on this side, and converts it to 12 volt DC. So you got regular circuit breakers like you'd see at home, and they're labeled, right? And then the power is converted from 110 AC to 12 volt DC here, and you've got 12 volt fuses, and they're all labeled. All right, so everything that can run on DC power, and a trailer does. Some things have to be AC power, like the air conditioner or the microwave. There's no way to get around that right now using DC power, not in a cost-effective way. So, like I said, everything that can run on DC, like for example, the fireplace has to be AC power too, alternating current. So, everything that can run on DC does. Also, if these were to blow, they'll actually light up, and you can see them through this tinted plastic. Plus, there's a battery tender. When you're plugged in, it will sense how much energy your battery needs up there. If it's really drained low, it'll send 10 amps up there, or whatever it takes. If it's charged, it'll just trickle a couple. So it's sort of smart in that way. It'll allocate the power where it's needed. So, okay. Let's see what else we have here. The range. First of all, your microwave works like any other microwave. This is your range hood with light and fan. Okay. This is, whoops, your range here. So basically this sparks to light it. I don't know if he's got the gas on right now. I guess I'll find out in a minute here. Yes, he does. So you're going to turn this clockwise to spark it, and it lights. It's very simple. Burner for each knob, of course. The oven's a little bit different. It does have a pilot light way back there at the bottom all the way to the back. So I can spark it so you can see. Hopefully you can see it sparking. Maybe not. Anyways, what you're going to do is you're going to come to the rightmost knob, which is the oven knob. You go to the picture of the flame, which means pilot. You depress it and keep it depressed through the whole procedure. So it's depressed right now. You start sparking it by turning it clockwise until the pilot light down here lights. Once it lights, you still hold this in for another 10 seconds or so to heat it up, and then you go to operating temperature, and it cycles like an oven does. When you shut it off, the flame goes out, but so does the pilot light. So you have to relight that pilot light every time you use it. Use the oven. Okay, let's look around some more. Okay, so your bathroom, the sink and shower work like any other sink and shower. Always remember to use the fan with the shower to pull the humidity out so you don't create conditions that might aid in mold or mildew growing. So you want to avoid that. The toilet, the thing to know is you can't use it dry. By dry, I'm talking about the black tank, which is here. There's the flush pedal right there, which is straight down there. That's the black tank. So there's no water hooked up right now, so none's coming out. But if we were hooked up to the water right now would be swirling out and dropping into the black tank. So what you have to do is when you get to the campground, you hook up your power and your water. You come in here with your toilet chemical. You step on the pedal and you let about a gallon or so go in there into the tank. It doesn't have to be exact. Just put some water in there and put your chemical in there. And then it's ready to be used until it's dumped again. Let's say you're going to stay at the campground for another week, and but you have to dump your black tank because it's full. After you dump it, you come in here and repeat that procedure. Put about a gallon or so in there, dump your chemical in, and you're all set till the next time you dump it. It can't be used dry because obviously the smell will be serious, and also can get clogged up. So, okay, let me look around here. You also have a smoke detector. I'm just curious to see whether we put the battery in it. We've been having this ongoing thing. Yep, it's in there. Okay. So let me look around. I think I covered it. Oh, yep, looks like it. So first I want to thank you for purchasing your trailer here at National RV Detroit. And then second of all, I want to remind you to inspect your roof and your seals. Any place you see caulk or seal it from the factory, you're going to take a look at. It just takes 20 minutes, a half hour of your time, a few times a year, 3 times a year, and it's for your own peace of mind and protecting your investment. So it's an important thing to do. Okay, thank you very much.